Quick question. Before T-Rex, before the velociraptor you've seen in literally every movie, before any of the famous dinosaurs you grew up with, there was a 12-ton monster walking around what is now South Africa. Yeah, not Jurassic Park, not Montana, South Africa. And by the end of this video, you're going to meet the dino whose name literally translates to a giant thunderclap at dawn. That one's coming, but we've got 9 other absolute legends to get through first, including the one that might be the actual missing link in how giant sauropods evolved in the first place. So stick around, because dinosaur number 1 is going to make you look at South Africa completely differently. Let's get into it. Number 10. Cephapanosaurus. Starting us off, Cephapanosaurus lived around 200 million years ago during the early Jurassic period. Now, this guy isn't going to win most famous dinosaur ever, but he's got a job to do. He represents a key stepping stone in how those small, regular-sized dinosaur ancestors slowly turned into the giant, long-necked sauropods you're picturing right now, like Brachiosaurus. Basically, evolution's rough draft. Not the final product, but you don't get the final product without him. Diet-wise, he was a plant eater, chomping through ferns, conifers, and whatever low-growing greenery the early Jurassic had on the menu. Nothing fancy. No hunting, no drama. Just eating salad on repeat for his entire life. But here's the catch. Being a slow-moving herbivore in the early Jurassic meant you were basically walking around with a giant "Eat Me" sign. Early carnivorous dinosaurs and large predatory reptiles of the period would have seen something like Cephapanosaurus as an easy meal. He didn't have any serious defenses. No armor, no horns, nothing. Just size and hoping nothing noticed him. Number 9. Archosaurus, discovered in the Free State. Here's why this one matters. It lived shortly after a mass extinction event, when most of Earth's species got wiped out thanks to massive volcanic eruptions that basically poisoned the planet's atmosphere for a good while. And get this, most of Archosaurus's relatives, this whole group of 2-legged plant-eating dinosaurs, had already died out by the time he shows up. By the early Jurassic, most of that earlier lineage had gone extinct, with just a few stragglers left holding on. Archosaurus was basically one of the last ones standing. Diet-wise, he was a small, lightweight herbivore, possibly nibbling a bit of everything, going by some research. His small size and light build let him move fast and forage efficiently, which likely helped him both find food and dodge predators at the same time. Basically, speed over strength. But here's the real reason scientists care about this guy. Archosaurus isn't just a small dinosaur that survived. He may represent one of the only known dinosaurs from his branch of the family tree to make it across the extinction line into the Jurassic period at all. Which means studying him helps researchers understand exactly how some species made it through near-total disaster while almost everything around them didn't. So basically, Archosaurus didn't just survive the apocalypse, he thrived in it. And scientists are still trying to figure out exactly how he pulled it off. Number 8. And this one's got the best name on the list, Dracovinator. Translation, Dragon Hunter. Okay, slight letdown. He wasn't actually hunting dragons. He was a meat-eating dinosaur related to the much bigger predators that came later, like the ones that would eventually evolve into things resembling Allosaurus-type giants. But hey, with a name like Dragon Hunter, I'm not taking away his confidence. And yeah, I forgot to mention, it was half the size of its members in its family. Number 7. Megapnosaurus. Used to be called Syntarsis, but they had to rename it because, fun fact, that name was already taken by a beetle. So this small, fast carnivore had to go through an entire identity crisis just because a bug got there first. Rough way to go down in history. Number 6, and this one's a big deal historically. Euskelesaurus. This was one of the very first dinosaurs ever discovered in South Africa, way back in the 1800s. A massive herbivore from the late Triassic period, roughly 210 to 200 million years ago. This guy was massive, possibly up to 9 or 10 meters long. Late Triassic South Africa was covered in conifer and cycad forests, which gave plant eaters like Euskalosaurus plenty of feeding grounds. So picture this thing just casually stripping leaves off the treetops, all day, every day. As for threats, being one of the biggest animals on Earth at the time meant most predators probably thought twice. Number 5. Ardenix. Lived during the early Jurassic, around 195 million years ago. This guy is genuinely fascinating because he's caught mid-transformation, walked mostly on 2 legs, but could drop down onto all 4s when needed. Like evolution hadn't fully made up its mind yet. Diet-wise, strictly plant-based. Ardenix mainly browsed on ferns, cycads, conifers, and ginkgos growing close to the ground, rather than reaching high into the trees. Basically, he skipped the salad bar and went straight for the ground-level buffet. Number 4. Antetonotrus. This is one of the earliest known giant long-necked dinosaurs ever found anywhere on Earth. That means this guy is basically a founding member of the sauropod family, the group that eventually produced the biggest land animals to ever exist. Scientists use Antetonotrus to literally map out how sauropods got so massive in the first place. No pressure, but this guy's basically the founding father of giants. Number 3. Heterodontosaurus. Small, fast, and honestly, kind of weird in the best way. Lived during the early Jurassic, around 200 to 190 million years ago. The name literally means different-toothed lizard, because unlike most dinosaurs that have one tooth type doing one job, this guy had multiple types of teeth, sharp ones up front, long canine-like tusks, and flat grinding teeth in the back. Built for cutting, grinding, the whole toolkit. Diet-wise, mostly plants, things like ferns, roots, and tubers he'd dig up with his clawed hands. Scientists think that means he was probably omnivorous, eating plants and meat, since those tusk-like teeth seem a little overqualified for just salad duty. And being this small, barely 1 meter long, about the size of a turkey, meant he had basically everything bigger as a potential predator. His main defense? Pure speed. His light bones and long legs made him a fast runner, which would have been useful for escaping predators rather than fighting them. Number 2. And you might actually recognize this name, Massospondylus. This is one of South Africa's most famous dinosaurs, period. Lived around 200 to 183 million years ago in the early Jurassic. A long-necked herbivore and, here's the cool part, an early relative of the giant sauropods, like an ancestor to the giants we already talked about. Diet-wise, strictly plants, mostly tough fern stems. His teeth weren't great for chewing, so he swallowed small stones called gastroliths to help grind up the plant material in his stomach instead. Basically, instead of chewing his food, he just ate rocks and let his stomach do the work. As for predators, turns out our old friend Dracovinator makes another appearance. Both lived during the same period and have been found in the same fossil formation in South Africa, making Dracovinator a likely predator. Smaller meat-eaters were also a threat, using quick slashing attacks to wear him down, but Massospondylus wasn't defenseless either, with large claws on his hands and feet ready to fight back.
Number 1.
Ledumahadi mafube. The name literally translates to a giant thunderclap at dawn in Sesotho, one of South Africa's own languages, which, by the way, might be the single greatest dinosaur name on this entire list. This thing weighed around 12 tons. That's roughly double the size of a large African elephant. He was the largest land animal alive on Earth when he lived, nearly 200 million years ago, anywhere on the planet. And here's the wild part. Ledumahadi lived before the truly massive sauropods evolved their classic four-legged, pillar-like stance. Researchers concluded that quadrupedal sauropodomorphs, which lacked the columnar limbs of later sauropods, could still attain massive, sauropod-like body sizes. This guy was getting to enormous sizes using a body type that, frankly, probably shouldn't have been able to support that much weight. Basically, nature looked at the rulebook for how giant animals are supposed to evolve, and Ledumahadi said, "Nah, we're doing it early, and we're doing it loud." Diet-wise, purely a plant eater, feeding mostly on cycads, ferns, and other Jurassic vegetation. And funnily enough, the actual fossil reconstruction art has him calmly foraging right next to Heterodontosaurus. Yeah, dietary confusion guy from earlier, just casually coexisting in the same field. As for predators, here's the thing. At 12 tons, there basically weren't any. Nothing in the early Jurassic was big enough, fast enough, or brave enough to take on something this size. His sheer mass was the defense system. No claws needed, no running needed, just existing as a problem too big to deal with. A literal thunderclap at dawn, stomping through what is now South Africa, 200 million years before any human would ever set foot there. King of the food chain, simply by being too big to argue with.
So that's 10 dinosaurs, from a tooth-confused omnivore, to a dinosaur that lost a naming battle to a beetle, to an absolute 12-ton thunderclap of a unit, all walking around South Africa millions of years before anyone was around to take notes. If this kind of stuff is your thing, ancient history, weird names, giant prehistoric chaos, there's a lot more of this on the channel. See you in the next one.